Hey guys, okay, continued on here from that other video. I see I'm gonna have to probably break these into videos or different like part 1, part 2, part 3. So in the end, this is what it turned out to be. These ignition coils, one's for your high end RPM and one is for your low end. This is the high end, so I assumed this one was still working fine, but I got them both replaced. This is the low end one. And here's one off my Crossfire 700 as well, just to give you an idea. So that these two units here go inside, basically they go inside the stator. Not behind the stator, just above it. So it's kind of hard to explain, but once you pull off your recoil and you look in there, you'll see that where the two sensors are, and those are the two sensors you'd have to replace. So whether you want to do it yourself or you want to take it to the CAT dealership or whatever, that depends on your abilities there. So in my case, here's the parts numbers for the bottom one, which was gone. It was 3007-318. That was the bottom for the F8. 3007-317 was the top one. Like I said, changed them both, and now it runs like a top. Brown Leisure World, these guys are awesome, just so you know. They have an online catalog where you can look up all the parts, get all the part numbers. You can buy online. They're really good if you want to buy from them direct. And they give you the retail price, so at least you know, okay, these sensors are going to cost this much or whatever. So definitely check them out, guys. brownleisure.com. I got one more video which I'm going to splice into this video after I'm done here, just showing how the sled was running at the time when it was running really crappy, just to give you an idea of what it was like, so you can maybe compare it to if your sled is running like garbage, then you kind of see if it's running kind of similar to that, right? So now if we change those timing sensors out, there's only two things that are left here to diagnose. You either got a bad stator, which is inside you take this recoil off. You either got a bad stator, which is not a cheap piece, or you got a bad computer, which is even more expensive, which is not great either. Most likely it would be the stator, but don't rule out the ECU. It could be the ECU as well, which is that guy right there. Here's a stator that I have out of a sled, just to give you an idea. So that's off a Crossfire 700, but that's basically the same. They're all the same. So that's a stator, and that piece basically sits behind this. I'm not going to take this off, but basically it sits behind here. There's a mag, which is, let's see if I have one of those. I don't think I do though. All my CAT parts. No, I don't think I have a mag. But it slides, it's a big magnet. It slides over top of the stator. Unless I got one in here. And I got nothing. So I can't really show you that, but if it's not the ignition coils sensors, then you're, oh, I do have a mag. Here we go. So that's a mag right there, and the stator goes inside it. And basically this spins at 1 billion miles an hour while the engine's running, which causes an electrical charge between these posts right here. And these posts create current or a charge, and then that's what powers all your devices on your sled. So what the heck is this? Long and short of it, in this case it was ignition coils. I hope you guys don't have to go through electrical issues like I had to. because I have had to deal with a few electrical issues on these cats, and they are very, very frustrating, especially when stuff, you know, the computer gives you a code. You think, well, that's what the problem is. It makes sense, the coils at first, so I ordered new coils, and then it turns out that's not the problem. So just because the dash gives you a code doesn't mean that's the exact problem. With these sleds, it's almost trial by error. You got to look at what you got. You got your computer, but that rarely goes, just so you know. So it's very unlikely that. You got your stator, which is down here in there. If it's your stator, then that is common. A stator will go. But usually if a stator will go, it just won't run at all. It just kills the engine. Like the engine's running and then just dies. Or it could run crappy like mine. So don't rule out the stator, even if you test it and it seems like everything's good. And then third, those darn ignition timing sensors. I had a feeling it was those darn sensors. But when I tested them, they tested fine, and that's what threw me off. So the other thing to look at is that wiring harness. Go through the wiring harness, look for any ground marks or rub marks on the frame. If there is, then count your lucky stars. You found the problem. Tape it up, clean it up, and make sure it's not grounding out on the frame, and your problem's fixed. That would have been probably the easiest, but that's what I would say. Obviously do your spark plugs, test your coils. From there, then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna check your wiring harness. If that don't work, then test those ignition sensors, ignition timing sensors. There's a low one and a high one on these 800s. I would say just get the sensors because they're cheaper than buying a stator, and it's worth a shot. And then if that don't work, it's going to be your stator. Even if it tests fine, I know it sounds retarded, but oh, I'm not supposed to say that. But if it's tests fine, and you know, just because it tests fine, it still could be out. If you change your stator and it still doesn't work, then you're looking at, you know, and you've looked at your coils. The only thing left now is your ECU, which is your computer. If you have lighting issues, dash issues, any kind of stuff like that, then it's possible it's your CCU, which is this voltage regulator. But that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. It could always be your injectors too. That's possible, but yeah. So these were the things. I'll roll that video clip at the end here. As always, guys, hopefully this will help somebody out and you know, shed some light on their issues if they are having the same kind of performance where it's backfiring and popping and no power, almost like it's going into limp mode. These are the areas you got to look, and good luck. Hopefully you can find it and fix it yourself, and if not, I guess hopefully you have a good dealer that's close by you. So alright guys, as always, thanks for watching, and this is my headache for the weekend, but it's all working now, so that's the main thing. Cheers guys.